Hey everybody, Jeff Reinhardt here, LMP and Lancaster Online. It's the LL Football Roundtable, sponsored by Auto House of Lancaster. You know where we are. We're up on the hill. Columbia playing great, 2-game winning streak. Beat Lancaster Catholic pretty convincingly last week, 43-zip, so we got to talk all things Tide. Chase Marley, how are you?
Good.
Good guy. I hope so. You're smiling. Yeah. Without going into all the details, the bus ride home from Catholic to Columbia last Friday, how crazy was that, and what went on in the bus?
It was very fun. We were talking about the game a lot. Good energy and just all around a good time in the bus.
Okay. I got to see the York Tech game a couple weeks ago when you finally snapped that skid, which I know you guys felt great about. What's the last couple of weeks been like? You're winning games, you got a ton of mo, having fun. Speak to the last 2 weeks and what's going right here.
It's very fun. We've been competing very well. The morale of the team is just extraordinary right now. We are together a lot, and the bond has just grew crazy over the past 5 weeks of football.
Anvil's playing good. They're coming up here Friday. First place game. I don't know how many first place games you guys have been in kind of recently, but start there. You got a big game that you should be in, and it's for first place. Even though it's halfway through the season, it's a big game. Are you juiced to get a big game up here?
Oh, yeah. We've been ready for a while, and this is the one. Very excited.
And you guys have a big first-place matchup in the league coming up this week, Anvil coming into town. What can you tell me about that team, maybe some of the keys to how you guys can come away with a win?
We just got to be prepared, stop the run, communicate on defense, work hard on offense, do anything that can get us the win.
Big matchup coming up this week, and obviously first place in the section on the line. You guys are playing really well. You're starting to build something here with this program. What kind of crowd are you expecting on Friday night?
Just hope everyone's here to watch us play. It's like you said, it's a pretty big game for first place in the sections. Just hope we win. I hope everyone's hyped. Hope we do good things.
Tide on 3. 1, 2, 3. Tide!
Coming back from Columbia, great time here for the Crimson Tide. Thank you for the access, talking to a couple of kids. They've kind of been the story of the week here in the LL. We're going to talk about that and all things LL football here. LL Football Roundtable, sponsored by Auto House of Lancaster. Huge game for Columbia. We mentioned it up there. They play Anvil Cleona for first place in Section 5 on Friday night. That should be great. Okay, welcome in. Jason, Christian, Brian, Jeff. Week 5, guys, halfway home. My goodness gracious, this season's flying. It's still summer and it's still hot, and we're going to be halfway home with football. We're going to break down a couple of games for you. Busy week, 20 games. There's a Thursday game this week. There's a couple Saturday games this week, and a couple of 1-0 first place games that we'll touch on. Cocalico Warwick. Let's start there. That's a really good Section 3 game. Warwick coming off a loss. Cocalico finally got their first win last week, so they've kind of found it. Jason will be going to Lidditz. Eagles, Warriors. Break it down.
Every week's a new adventure, and the outlook looks much different for these two teams than it did the last time we sat in these chairs. Cocalico was 0-3. Mm-hmm. As we mentioned, it was a misleading 0-3. They had 3 tough losses. They were ahead in the fourth quarter. Those teams are a combined 10-2, so they played a really tough schedule.
Yep.
Finally broke through against Garden Spot. Dane Horning, 175 yards rushing in that game. He's over 500, one of only 2 Section 3 backs, along with Johnny Garcia at Solanco, to surpass 500 yards so far. But the stat that stood out to me was Connor Horning, the quarterback. He had 124 yards rushing. He's a sophomore starter, and it takes some time for sophomores to excel at the varsity level. Most sophomores at quarterback position aren't even on the field. And we saw this 3 years ago with Josh Meyer, where Cocalico started slow with a new quarterback. They were 3-4, and they wound up winning the district championship. I'm not saying they're going to win another district title, but they're going to get better, and they're not the same team in week 5 that they were going into week 1. So now all of a sudden they're 1-0 in the section, and everything looks great for them. And Warwick's on the other side of that. Everything went wrong for Warwick in Quarryville. Quarterback Thomas Myers got hurt. Colin McGaugh filled in admirably, but they were already behind when he came in the game. Solanco jumped on him early, touchdown, turnover, touchdown. It was 14-0, and that's just not how Warwick wants to play. Warwick was a great defensive team. They want to play with the lead. So now all of a sudden they're 0-1. They were 3-0 overall, and now they're chasing the section, and they kind of have to win this game to have any chance at the section title.
Yeah.
So they get Cocalico coming to their place, It's really interesting because one team's 1-3 and one team's 3-1, and they feel completely the opposite of
good
their
point.
records about how their season's going. So we'll see which way it turns next.
Interesting. Yeah, that's a really interesting game. Very interesting game. Okay, Christian. Ephrata at E-Town. Ephrata coming off a loss. E-Town back-to-back shutouts. Bears are playing well. Break that one down, please.
Yeah, and pair of 3-1 ball clubs here. So I think this is at the point in the season where 4-1 and 3-2 are very different outlooks.
Yeah,
Like I think
be.
this is a must-win potentially for both ball clubs. Like you mentioned, E-Town's coming off back-to-back shutouts, most notably 44-0 at South Philadelphia last week. Trent Kaufman's having a great season under center, throwing for 641 yards, 4 touchdowns to this point, and they got a pretty decent back in Prince Ratto as well. Has run for about 350 yards, another 4 scores. Ephrata is kind of we don't know where Ephrata stands right
They're
now.
hurt. That's where they're at.
Yeah, it's a little banged up, a little bruised. Lost 31-7 against Conestoga Valley last week. Their first loss of the season after a 3-0 start. Carson Martin, did not play last week, but Malachi Knowles is filling in. He had that great game at Garden Spot, but kind of a off week last week. Just threw for 44 yards. So it'll be interesting to see if Ephrata can bounce back and if E-Town can continue the roll.
Sneaky good game. Enjoy E-Town. You're staying in the county this week.
Staying in the county this week.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
All right. Wanted to mention this non-league game. Spring Grove's playing at Conestoga Valley. Lost its luster a smidge. Spring Grove lost last week, but this is still a really good matchup between a pair of District 3 5A favorites for later on. Break it down.
So Spring Grove did lose last week, their first loss of the season. They lost 50-13 to Central York, who I believe is undefeated, maybe.
Yep, state ranked.
So, it's might have lost its luster because they have one loss, but they also lost to a solid squad, so that makes a difference. CB is the last undefeated Lancaster County team. I mean, we have some Berks teams in the LL now that are undefeated, but CB is the last one standing here in the county. Sawyer Esbenshade, how do you not start with him? I mean, he's really lived up to the hype this year. 11 touchdowns in the season, 2 interceptions, but when you air it out, that's going to happen, right? Tegan Rubel, 51 rushes, 332 yards, 2 touchdowns on the season. It's just they have weapons. The Buckskins are a strong team. I think it will be interesting to see how they match up with Spring Grove because, like you said, they were undefeated, but they played a good squad and lost. So it'll be interesting to see that kind of competition level. I wanted to shout out Cordell Bear. Last week, he had 3 receptions for 133 yards and a touchdown. You want to talk about efficiency? That's pretty efficient.
84-yard touchdown catch. That'll help.
That'll do it. But Esbenshade has targets. I think it's something we don't see much anymore. It's kind of a rarity to see a quarterback that can kind of air it out. So when you give them weapons, I mean, it's tough to stop. So it should be. If anything, it's going to be an intriguing one. Yep. And I think that's all we can ask for.
CV won over there last year, 13-7, squeaked past. CV's given up 13 points, fewest in the league, and they have the #1 defense in the league, and they have Esbenshade. Watch out for the Bucks.
I think too, a thing to mention is I think last week's game against Ephrata would have been better if Ephrata wasn't as banged up. So I think we're going to start seeing kind of what they're made of when they go against some of these healthier squads.
Exactly.
So
okay.
Should be fun.
I drew the big rivalry game this week. Township Hempfield, they're rivals in everything. I mean, they could play tiddlywinks and they'd want to destroy each other. Trophy game, Kurjaika Trophy up for grabs. Township leads the trophy series 9-2. Township's kind of found it, had the loss to Central York, and now they've come back-to-back weeks. Kenneth's been really good. PJ Myers, you sat there a couple weeks ago and said, watch out for PJ Myers.
Yeah.
150 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns last week against P-Dub. So Township's kind of found it. Their offense has really come around. Hempfield, oh my, Derek Ketch, 800 yards passing already. Orion Abrams, good job. Leads the league in receiving yards and receptions. Hempfield's going up top a lot. So Township secondaries, DBs, heads up. Black Knights are not shy about going up top. Fun game, Township Hempfield. Throw out the records. That'll be a war. And I will see you in Landisville for that. Okay. For the good of the order, which has become a popular segment here on the show, Jason, anything?
Went to Columbia last week
Yeah, you did.
before the Catholic game just to write a feature about what it's like to play there with the small numbers that they have. And what I found surprised me, they were defiant and they were convinced that they were better than their recent results had shown. Tyler Brommer said to me when I mentioned how few players they have, he said, that's all we got and that's all we need. And then they went and they blew out Catholic on Catholic's home field. So they backed it up. It was really impressive.
Nice. Christian,
I think I'm almost set.
you don't want to plug anything or shameful
you know,
plugs or anything?
Like last week. I mean, golf coverage is still coming. I covered the Section 4 match at Royal Oaks yesterday. Have the Section 1 match, which is coming down to the wire between Manheim Township, Cedar Crest. So that'll be today, and then a couple field hockey games the rest of the week.
Golf playoffs start like next week, probably.
Yep, they do. Thursday at Lebanon Country Club.
Holy
So,
cow.
yeah.
Brian, anything?
Bye week for cross country, so
Saw that.
Just kind of joining everybody else's beats. As always, go check everything out that we have on the website because we have a lot. So.
Yeah, there's a lot. I don't have anything, but Lancaster Online, come on. I mean, we're covering everything. We're everywhere. So check out all the local sports coverage there. Okay, good stuff. Week 5, halfway home. Good games, 20 games, Thursday game, full Friday night, 2 on Saturday. And there'll be some section facelifts here in some of these showdowns. Thanks for watching. LL Football Roundtable, sponsored by Auto House of Lancaster. Jason, Christian, Brian, Jeff, Tyler. Thank you, Columbia, again for the access. We'll see you next week. Enjoy the games.